So I recently was experiencing something where I couldn't breathe. I was having chest pain. I was nauseous. I was dizzy. I didn't know what was going on. What was going on and what got me through it? You got to stay tuned to find out. Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Patriot's Revival Podcast. I'm so glad that you've decided to join us again. Y'all, I've been so busy. I've been traveling for work because my day job requires me to do that from time to time. And I've been going to Tennessee a lot. We have some plants in Tennessee. And so I've been having to go there. I work for a lime and minerals company. So our company, we quarry limestone. We basically are out in a mine, either an open pit mine or an underground mine. We quarry the limestone. It goes through a crusher. We just process it into various sizes, and it's used for everything from animal feed to glass production, for making shingles. It goes in shingle filler, all kinds of uses for limestone. So I was touring one of our plants recently. I was not there to tour the mine. I was there to do a site assessment on some other stuff, some process improvement stuff that I do for our company. But this particular plant is an underground mine. And I've not been to any of our plants. I've been to a lot of our plants here in the United States, but all of them are open pit mines, in that what happens is we strip the land of all of the, basically you strip off all of the trees and everything, and you get that ready, and then you drill, and then you blast to get to the rock that you need for the limestone. Well, this particular plant has an underground mine, and everybody told me, "Hey, are you going to go into the mine? Are you going to go into the mine?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't know." Now, y'all, have to give you some background, because just a couple of years ago, we had a mine collapse at this facility. And I thought, "Oh my gosh." And when I talk about a mine collapsing, I'm talking, I mean, rock coming down to where you could be trapped or you could even be killed. So thankfully, that mine, everybody got out in time. In fact, whenever I was at this mine talking to an individual, I said, "What was it like that day? You were there that day?" And he said, "Well, we were in the middle of the mine," which is, this is in Tennessee, so it's you're underground, but yet you're in the side of a mountain. And he said one of his coworkers could hear what sounded like rain. Well, y'all, when you're underground or you're in the middle of a mountain and it's raining outside, you do not hear rain. And thankfully, that individual, that employee, when he heard something that sounded like rain, he knew that meant probably at the top of the mountain that it was starting to collapse, that there were things, rocks starting to fall. And thankfully, he was able to get everybody on the radio, and he said, "Everybody needs to get out of the mine, and let's get out, because something is not right here." They all got out of the mine. There were about 20 of them in there. And 20 minutes later, it just came crashing down. I wish I could share with you the video that was taken, but I'll try to describe the video to you. You could see all the employees were kind of standing outside the mine, and all of a sudden you see this huge collapse, and you see all of this dust and everything fly everywhere, and you see debris just blasting out of the hole of the entrance to the mine, and it was quite scary. They were basically saying it was like hurricane force winds that were coming through there. And so even if you had been in that mine and rocks hadn't fallen on you, or you had been able to be in a spot where you wouldn't have gotten rock to fall on you, you probably would have died because of the impact of the wind. Because think about it, when something's coming down, there's nowhere for it to go other than the opening. So as it's coming out, it's coming down, and even if you were close to the entrance of the mine, it would have blown you into a rock, into an interior wall. So you probably wouldn't have survived. And so, knowing that, And being at this particular mine, I was really hesitant to go in, and everybody said, "Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We understand now why it collapsed." And we have a mine engineer on staff. We have geologists that come look at it, and they measure even the most little teeny tiny fracture or whatever in there, and they're always looking at that. They have these monitors on all of the rock that's inside the mine. So anyway, everybody said, "Oh, it's fine. That was a while back and everything's fine now." But I was still a little bit nervous. And they asked me, they said, "Melanie, are you claustrophobic?" And I'm not. I'm not. I can ride an elevator, I can do an MRI. I don't have any problems with that. I don't really have a fear of small spaces. I don't have a fear of not being able to get out, but it was just in my mind thinking, my gosh, I'm gonna be going into the side of a mountain that collapsed just a couple of years prior. I don't know, because that could be a death sentence right there. But I thought, "Yeah, I don't know." And they said, "Just do it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll only be in there for like 30 minutes." And I thought, "Okay, yeah, how bad can this be?" And y'all, it was a thing. It's a whole thing to even just get prepared to go inside the mine. I had to go into our mine rescue building. If you fall under MSHA, which is the Mine Safety Health Administration, one of those government agencies, and under MSHA, you have to get some training before you go into the mine. One of our mine engineers was going to give me the tour in the mine, so we go into our mine rescue building that was on site there, just right outside the mine. And the first thing she gives me is like this gold coin thing, and it has a number on it. And she said, "Take that and put it in your pocket." And I had to sign that in a log. And she said, "This is your copy. The other one will stay here." And they had this huge board of all of these numbers. And so basically, there were two of those little gold coin things that you would put in your pocket with the same number. So if you're inside the mine, then you have you have one of the copies. And if that other one matches to the board outside in the mine rescue office. And I said, "Well, what is this for?" And she said, "Well, that's how we will identify you, if the mine collapses or whatever, so keep it in your pocket, because they know once you get back from being in the mine, then you'll put it back on the board and they know that, okay, that person, number 1, 2, 3, whatever number was etched on the little coin that I put in my pocket, that corresponds with Melody Allen, the visitor that was in the mine." So I started getting a little bit nervous about that. And then she hands me this, I don't know what you call it, but it was just this little thing that you breathe, and she showed me how to use it. And even that, I was kind of starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. And basically, it would clean the air if I was inside the mine and a fire broke out. Because think about it, you're in a mountain, you're underground. There's nowhere for the carbon monoxide to go. The the dangerous gases and smoke and everything, then you're gonna die. And so she gave me this thing and taught me how to pop it up, and if there was an emergency in there, and she said that would give you clean air to breathe for 1 hour. And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, 1 hour." Think about some of the stories we've heard over the years of people getting caught in a mine and being in there for days or weeks or whatever. And my brain just started thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's only gonna give me clean air. It's only gonna to filter out the carbon monoxide or whatever for an hour." But I thought, we're only gonna be in there for 30 minutes. It's not a big deal. It'll be fine. Also, one of the things she gave me was a tracker. It was something she said to make sure you kept that breathing thing, your coin, and then this tracker within 25 feet of you. And that tracker also, it's pretty cool because it's like a GPS thing. And she showed me on the screen before we went into the mine. You could see it beeps, and you could see all the people on the screen that were already working in the mine that day. So if there was a collapse or if somebody did get trapped in the mine, they would know exactly where you were. So she told me to make sure I kept all of those within reach of me, 25 feet or whatever. So that was a little scary. So we hop in the pickup, we're driving through the mine, and y'all, it's dark. And she told me, "Now, Melody, if I didn't have the truck lights on the pickup, you would not be able to see your hand in front of your face." And she cut the lights off for a minute, and it was dark. You could not see anything. You could not see. I mean, I was sitting in the pickup in the front seat with her and I could not see it. Could not see my hand in front of my face. And so I noticed it was very dark and it was cool. I mean, it was a cool, I want to say it was 60, 65 degrees down there. And she told me it's that temperature all the time because it's not, I mean, it's underground. It's in the side of a mountain. So regardless of, it could be 30 degrees outside or it could be 102 degrees outside, it's still going to be a cool 60, 65 degrees inside that mine. And so we're driving around in the mine and she's showing me different things and y'all, I mean, and it's quite impressive. And we go by where they're actually working on chipping away at some of the rock and there are huge pieces of equipment in there. And it's pretty cool because one of the pieces of equipment, I don't know what it's called. It's almost got this big hook on it. And this guy sits in this machine all day long and he is just scraping away at the side of the wall, the rock wall, and trying to get it to pull down. And then somebody will come and scoop it up and then they take it out and it goes to a crusher and all that stuff. But just think about it. I mean, I know we've got geologists and engineers that are looking at that. So if he's scraping away at this rock all day long, what if that just disrupted something in the top of that mountain that just caused the collapse? So anyway, I'm thinking about that. She's talking, but y'all, I immediately, I started feeling bad. I started feeling, I thought, why do I feel like this right now? My heart was racing. I thought I was almost having chest pains. I I was feeling nauseous. I was feeling dizzy. And then I got to where I had trouble. I felt like, "Oh my gosh, I'm having trouble breathing." And I thought, "What is going on in here?" And I smelled something. I said, "What is that smell?" I asked the young lady who was the mine engineer, and she said, "Oh, well, that's petroleum. There's petroleum in the ground and you can smell it and you can see it even all throughout the mine." And she said, "That's petroleum." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, is that am I gonna pass out?" And she said, "It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine." But I'm getting to where I feel like I can't breathe. And I look over to her and she's talking and y'all, she was talking. I honestly don't know what she was saying. It was almost do you remember the Peanuts thing where when Charlie Brown's mom would talk and you would just hear, I felt like that. I felt like the young lady that was giving me the mine tour, that I could hear her speaking, but I felt like she was just this I don't know really what she was saying. It sounded like that to me, okay? I don't know, and I'm looking around and I'm getting nervous, I'm getting anxious, I don't know what's going on, and I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, I can't breathe." And at one point, she looks over at me and she says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm okay." Because I knew that if I said, "No, I'm not, get me the heck out of here," I would be the laughing stock of all of my employees of like, "Oh yeah, Melody couldn't handle the mine. She got scared or whatever." So I thought, "No, Melody, calm down." And so we're just driving through the mine and we're looking at stuff. And at one point she gets lost. But y'all, as I'm sitting there and I'm feeling like, "Oh my gosh, I can't breathe." And then I realize I'm having a panic attack or I'm having some sort of anxiety. And y'all, I never, ever have anxiety. I don't have that problem. Okay. That's not me. But I realized in this moment, I was thinking about the mine collapsing 2 years prior and those people, and thankfully they got out, but I'm inside the mine right at this minute. And I'm thinking about the tracker that's in my pocket and the coin. If they have to, that's how they'll identify my body. And the breathing thing that I only have clean air for 1 hour, and it was just a lot, and I was thinking, "I could die in here." And I realized I am having a panic attack, and y'all, as she's just over there driving and explaining things to me, I just started praying. I started praying to God, but praying just it was between me and him. And I just started praying, "God, I am overwhelmed right now. I am anxious. I'm nervous. I don't know why I feel like this right now other than I'm nervous that I could die in here, that I could get stuck in here, that I may never see my family again. What if today this mine decides to collapse just like it did 2 years prior?" My brain was going, "What if, what if, what if?" And I just started praying, y'all. In that moment, she's talking and she's just talking and talking. Well, And I wasn't really hearing her, and I just started praying. It was just me and God in that moment, even though she was sitting there, the mine engineer, Lexi, was sitting there next to me, and I was just praying, "God, get me through this. If not, if for some reason you decide for this mine to collapse today and I am killed or I'm trapped in this mine, I know that that will be your will, and that will be fine because I will be with you after this." And y'all, it's like, bam, this sense of calmness came about, this sense of peace came about, and I was fine. And she never really knew I was praying. I guess I could have prayed and said, "Lexi, we've got to stop. I've got to pray right now." But I just prayed right then and there in that mine while she's driving the pickup and talking and showing me things and pointing things out. And I prayed, and this sense of calmness came over me. As we are getting close to the entrance exit area, you can see that light coming through. You know the old saying that you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Y'all, I really saw the light whenever we're getting ready, as we're getting close to the exit of that mine. You could see the light coming in, and then I knew, okay, the Holy Father got me through that. And y'all, after I prayed that prayer too, I want you to know I could breathe. My chest was no longer hurting. I was no longer nauseous. I was no longer dizzy. And I just realized, God got me through that little panic attack. And it just made me think of how good God is. It made me think of a verse, Philippians 4:6-7, that I want to read for you, that says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus." And y'all, and that's exactly what happened to me. I was having that panic attack or whatever, that anxiety, and I prayed and I gave it all to God, and He got me through that situation. But it made me think about all the people out there who suffer from anxiety, who suffer from fear and worry, and how they, if they don't have God in their lives, that how do they get through that? How they may truly think they're having a heart attack, or they may truly feel like they can't breathe, or they can't get out of that situation. And that's why the world needs Jesus. We need Jesus in our lives, because I felt just fine after this. So I would tell you, if you are ever in a situation like that where you just feel like you can't get out, or you're drowning, or you feel overcome, or you just feel overwhelmed with anxiety and concern and worry and fear, follow God's word in Philippians 4:6-7, which again says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. Then you will experience God's peace." That's really all I wanted to share with you guys today. Y'all, I just wanted to give God the glory for getting me out of that mine and getting me out of there safely, and for me to hand it all over to Him to get me through that. And I encourage you to do that today. Your altar call is to use this verse whenever you're anxious, whenever you are worried, whenever you are deeply concerned and you just feel like you can't handle it and you don't know what to do and it's just out of your control. Let go and let God. Pray about it. Tell God what you need, and He will give you peace. Don't forget our final verse that we always share with you for Patriot's revival, which is Psalm 119:25, that says, "Though I lie in the dust, revive me by your word." Folks, dust off that Bible, get into God's word. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I really enjoyed sharing this story with you and telling you, because I'm giving God the glory. Have a great week. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.